Hi, welcome back to We've All Got Dead People. I'm Amy.
And I'm Bunny.
Let's get started.
Yeah.
So this episode is 1 year on, or alternatively...
Mum's ashes.
Mum's ash scattering. Yeah, I'm realising now, I went back through some of the footage and we never went in depth about Mum.
Yeah, I mean, we can't really remember
the week where she died. Yeah, we can't really remember.
I feel like we touched on it and then we keep avoiding it.
We've not gone into the full depth. So do we want to start there?
I feel like that's probably a good
We can
place.
do that.
I feel like 1 year on, we've kind of reflected on it a lot more. Yeah. And I feel like we were able to process it. But I'd say the most traumatising part is obviously Mum's death and leading up to that. So, yeah, where do we want to begin? I feel like for you, where did it start? For
so
me,
what we have referenced is the bit where, so we said she was in bed and she wasn't very responsive.
Yeah.
And we had that chat where you were like, I was trying to feed her and I was very impatient and you were like, dude. So that bit we've had a discussion about.
Right. And
but we haven't filled in the rest.
That was definitely late June/July. Early July. That was definitely July, first week of July.
Yeah. Last year, not this year.
Yeah, last year, not this year. So, yeah, basically initially it was term 3 for me, coming home once every 2 weeks because I had to get on with uni. You were dealing with your life and we were just coming home once every 2 weeks and the decline was really, really, really bad and we could definitely see it. And then I finished freshers year. Woohoo! Fun for me, coming home to my dead, dying mother. It was great. Really, really fun. And then, I think you were very much still in London at this point, coming back every weekend, like every other weekend.
It got, as it progressed, our visiting got more frequent.
Yeah,
so I'd say, as in, I was travelling up with my aunt and uncle and my cousins. And so...
Yeah. So I moved out of my accommodation, got really emotional there. That was like a whole thing. And then moved back to here, and there was fully no escaping it because I feel like before I was very much in my uni bubble and it was just like my harsh reality for just every other weekend, whereas now it was like fully thrown into the deep end, me coming home and just seeing Mum in the state that she was in, and just trying to get on with like, this is my new life, this is my new routine. So where probably one of my students was enjoying their summer, I was sat
here
with my mum. But it was okay. I think it was okay. And I don't really know where to begin. I think most of us had kind of come home. There was like a couple of weeks where we were here anyway. You had come back. That was when I think you had time off of work or something.
Yeah.
You were here for at least a week.
No, so I think, had she stopped eating?
I can't remember.
Either I think she'd stopped eating or...
At this point, she was fully like not able to speak. But she was still very, what's the word? I don't know. She wasn't aware, but she was kind of aware. She was still very, oh my God, what's the word? Like, not arrogant, but do you know what I mean? Like, she didn't want help. So, like, she'd push off, literally in a wheelchair, she'd push off the table when she wanted to leave the table.
Well, she was proud. She was a proud woman.
Yeah.
Was that in those weeks, though?
I think it was.
No, possibly. But anyway, I think what...
For me, it was because I was here. That was like every single night.
I was here a bit as well, but I don't think I came back. Our call to action as a family, I'm pretty sure, was she had stopped eating. Yeah. And we all, not us, but other family members have seen people die from cancer. So it was like, okay, we could expect her to die
soon.
Within the week or a couple
slightly
of weeks.
Before that, we had said our goodbyes and we were dancing with her. We were playing music and she was kind of half reacting to it. Because she was bedridden. But she was still...
Was she still eating?
She was still eating, drinking, kind of. But she was still... so we were playing music with her to interact with her, but there was just no speech at this point.
We must have called Bunny back once she stopped eating.
Yeah, and that was when you were already back home, but so that was like me and you saying goodbye, and we both said goodbye just in case. And then I went on holiday with my boyfriend, his family, to Italy, and then I got the phone call saying, like, you need to come home. And that was, came home to her no longer eating, and as you said, people had experienced this before in our families, so they were like, okay, it's time, it's going to happen within the next couple of days.
Like family that had to fly and flew in.
Exactly. It was like, you need to be here. It was like, you need to get your ass back here, like, you need to be here.
Yeah, so all the family come back. We've said before, people were kind of like drip feeding her. She wasn't eating. As in, we basically had these like natural ice lollies. So we were giving her that. And then people were giving her like, I guess, special drinks or just like sugary drink, stuff like that, or just different stuff.
At this point, she wasn't there. She was just closed eyes.
Well, yeah, okay, fine. No, but basically, yeah, she'd stopped eating. Everyone came back, yeah. And then there were some days, or most of the days, her eyes were shut.
I know that you're trying to refine it, but that was the week leading up to it. That was when we went. We left her eating ice lollies, doing all of that. When we left to come back, she fully stopped eating, eyes shut. She was not there.
Right, okay.
So when I had left, she was kind of there, kind of eating, kind of drinking. When I come back, she was literally like asleep 24/7. It was like a kind of coma type thing. Like,
I've obviously I've forgotten the chronology because it's just like traumatizing.
Yeah,
this is the shit that we in theory needed PTSD therapy for. I don't want to spend too long on this because I just don't. But
yeah, we got called back. She wasn't really eating. She wasn't drinking. There were nurses on like an hourly. I think it was every 12 hours or even less, 6 hours, and they were like changing drips. And she was on different IVs, and it was for different like. I think she had an IV in each.
Yeah, by the end she did.
It was I think there was one in her leg. There was like
who knows?
Just different drugs, really, really, really drugged up. And this is when she was like almost seizuring. Her arm would go up. It was really weird. We don't have to get too into it, but it was like it was just weird. It was. I think we've talked about it before. It was like Groundhog Day because every day was the same nurses coming in, really lovely nurses, and then we were on like, obviously we weren't, thank God, but the other half of our family were on like a nightly, hourly schedule to be rotate there, just in case she did pass.
Someone had to monitor at all times.
Yeah, at all times, so they were kind of stopping at hours, so everyone was on no sleep. Everyone was sort of just waiting for her to die. But it was
apart from us, we got
sleep, thank God. Yeah,
we got lucky.
Yeah, we were lucky. I'm very grateful for the people that we had around us. But it was, as I've said, it was kind of like Groundhog Day because it was, the party was there. We had our family, we were surrounded by good food, we were all drinking, but it was just the same routine every single day. And we just were waiting. We were all just kind of waiting around for this horrible thing to happen. But it was so surreal because it was like really jolly and joyous. It was really weird. And that's when I think you were trying to give her the drink before, and that's when I pulled you aside and it wouldn't work. And then... or something like that, or that was the previous week. And then I think I remember it was really getting on a bit. Me and you were a bit kind of just antsy.
We didn't have to do any of the care stuff, but obviously like there was a lot of care going on. But also things like friends of hers would come in and like give her like a little facial or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and then I think there was one day where it was like, because clearly this is the daily routine, I'll just pop over to next door, like, my best friend. So I went round there, and then her mum, I was like, finally I can just chill and be out of it. And then her mum came in and was like, yeah, Bunny, your mum's going, you're going to have to run back. So I literally sprinted down.
The day of.
Sprinted down the street, walked in, and everyone was surrounding her. And it was like the evening, and it was really, really just light and airy. And she was like, breathing, really heavily breathing.
Just before this, I think we just thought she was going to
go sooner.
But she was displaying all the signs of something, she's not eating, she's not drinking, her eyes aren't opening anymore.
It was like 2 days. It was like 2 days
We
max.
did have, so this is why I got confused about the dancing thing. So it must have been during the week, so like family would come up one weekend and then it was the middle week and then the weekend where she died. But during the week, we had a period where it was just us two with her, and do you remember her eyes were shut and we put the speaker on quite loud and we played all of her favourite music and then we were holding her hands and dancing around her. There was when Bunny got back from her holiday, do you remember? So, oh shit, that was it. Okay, I remember. Okay, so the final
I'm just trying to remember as well, that's why I'm going silent because I'm just trying to...
Bunny had been away, but I'd come to like be there for the week because we had made this assumption. I got there and they'd been like, okay, she stopped opening her eyes. I'd been reading bits of Green Light's Matthew McConaughey trying to do the accents, but then when she was more alive, she made it very clear in her facial expressions that she didn't enjoy that, so I stopped. Same with my flute playing. I can't remember if we've had this convo, but yeah. And another time she made a face at my tattoos, we were having a conversation about it, and I was like, Mum, you literally only let me get this tattoo style. Woman. Anyway. But yeah, so I'd come back, I'm reading her the book, and then I started playing her music, and basically I was holding her hand the whole time, and I felt her twitch like that in time to the music. So I was like, okay, interesting. So I then, like cranked up the volume. I'm then like just kind of like singing and tapping out like this on her hand. So I was like, okay, when Bunny comes back the day after,
we can play music.
We need to play music and just do that as a thing.
Yeah, and I just remember having...
Not only that, the day that Bunny gets back, do you remember Mum opened her eyes?
No.
Yeah, so it was like her baby's come home and Mum opened her eyes and looked at Bunny. But it was kind of like a...
Oh, shit. Yeah, because this was the thing. I think I remember coming home and expecting her to not be in the state that she was in, even though I literally got the phone call saying you need to come home right now. But yeah, I think I just remember feeling very like underwhelmed because she had opened her eyes and that was it. And that's all I got.
Yeah.
Whereas for you guys, that was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, it was like, okay, this is a lot. But that's the only reaction I got. It was just her. I just remember like her staring.
But
up
like
at me
a pained, kind of half squint stare.
Yeah.
Like she looked like a sick animal. Like I don't know. You can just see pain. You can see when someone or something's in a lot of pain. Like you could. And she was doing this whole like arm dancing thing. But I have spoken to people who've had sick relatives who don't have brain tumors, and that does seem to be consistent. It's like the agitation like in bed thing. Her seizure thing made it worse, but also people do get weird and agitated. So she was having like the weird limb stuff, and then anyway, so then we have one night, Bunny gets back, and then we play music really loud, and we kind of like holding her hand and dancing next to her. I can't remember if she opened her eyes again.
I honestly think that was before. I think we just kept on doing so many things. Yeah. But I remember that we tried doing the music thing.
No, it
you
wasn't
were like,
before. It was
okay,
after.
anyway,
I promise you it was after.
Anyway, you were like, oh, we should do the music thing because she really reacted to me, and I remember doing it, and I just got nothing, and I was really upset about that.
Oh yeah, she didn't react. Yeah, because she definitely with me. She opened her eyes for you, but for me, she like squeezed my hand and
I just didn't get that.
Kind of in time in the beat to music.
Yeah.
It was Half Moon Run, I remember. But yeah, so anyway, so then all family's back. We're like, she's not eating, she's not drinking. It's probably going to be a couple. Yeah, so Bunny says Groundhog Day. It's going on and on and on. We're just like, fuck. We've had. You're right. We've had several occasions where I think probably all of the family at several. Whenever anyone had a quiet moment with her, we kind of all said like, it's okay. Like you're allowed to go.
Everyone had a quiet moment with her, and I was really avoiding it. And then it got to like 2 days before she died. I like sat her down, and it was fucking horrible. I really hope I don't cry at this, but I just remember because I think by that point you had had your tat. And I think I said to Sam, our aunt, I was like, I think I need to go do it because clearly she's not fucking going.
I think I made you as well because I was like, you're her kid. You have to sign off.
I just sat down with her and all I can remember saying is, it's gonna fucking suck. Obviously, you're my mum, and there's gonna be I have to live my whole entire life without my mum. But I was like, I need you to go now because everyone's come all this way and spending so much time, energy, and effort. And it's just too much. It's too much, and it's like everyone's suffering watching her suffer. And I was just like, I love you, but it's time for you to go. I was like, it's gonna suck grieving you, but I was like, I love you. You just need to go now. I'm really sorry. Also, and I just asked her.
I think we were both a bit pissed off. We were kind of like, we obviously didn't say to her, but we were like, it's a bit selfish to kind of be hanging on just because everyone's hearing for this.
Especially because, as Amy had said, people had been through this before, and at that point, it's normally 2-3 days. And this was like day number 7, and it was like...
Oh my God. Yeah, exactly.
Like, it just wasn't great. So I just remember really asking her to go, and that was fucking horrible. Like, I was just holding her hand and obviously not getting anything back and just crying at her saying, please leave, respectfully leave. And then...
Do you remember as well, our aunt and some of our cousins went to go back one day.
Oh, yeah.
And then they literally got... Because it had been just days and we were like, what do we do? And then they got, obviously as well, you're only allowed to work. So many days off work.
Yeah.
And they got to like the top of our road and then came back. They were like, we have to stay.
And the car broke as well.
And no, they'd borrowed someone's car and it just didn't really have brakes. It was terrifying. But anyway...
But after I said my piece, I also had counselling the next day, and I basically said to my counsellor, I was like, the whole stages of grief thing is kind of odd, but I was saying I've kind of accepted that she's going to die, and I need her to die so that I can move on to the other stages of grief. And I was like, I'm so ready. I've accepted that this shit thing is happening, and I need it to happen now. And then that's when I was like, oh, it's fine. It's clearly the same routine, so I'll just head over to Piers. And then literally not even an hour later after I said I'm ready to move on, that's when Mum was dying.
Yeah.
Like fully like last breaths.
And you warned me about the death rattle as well, do you remember?
Yeah.
And I was like,
she didn't really
yeah,
do
right.
that, which was good.
Oh, the other thing is as well, and this was probably one of the biggest things that like haunted me, was, do you remember just like this, like her body, like her breath obviously smelt bad.
I don't think I remember.
But she just smelt like decay.
For me, it wasn't. This is so like,
and her skin was like
warning,
slimy. And
for
like,
me, it's not like
clammy.
The way that she smelled, it was the way that she looked. Like she just wasn't mum. She was literally like this hollow, literally physically hollow being. Like she was yellow and blue and purple, and it was like so grim.
And
you know, this is the thing. We'll try and end it on a light note, but this was the thing. We all were like, oh shit, she's really heavily breathing. And then she kept on having moments where she would stop breathing, and we were all like, all surrounded her, like, okay, this is the time. And then she stopped breathing again, and we were like, oh my God. And this was just going on for at least like half an hour.
Like her breaths got heavier or lighter, I can't remember. And then the gaps between breaths were longer, and then
she just kept on like pranking us. It was really, really funny because we were all just so ready, but also, and she was just still going.
I'm now remembering in the days leading up to this, like just seeing moments of her having like seizures, like watching her have seizures, and like her looking just up in fucking pain.
This was,
and like that's the stuff that like, honestly, we haven't thought about this. We obviously thought about it, but we've not had to speak about it. And like it's finally been going.
The rest of it is so in my head, whereas like this is what I guess subconsciously I'm trying to dig deep down. And it's when I'm like chilling throughout my day, and then I just get a flash of it, and I'm like, no, I'm not dealing with that. Because it's just, that's when it feels like, okay, maybe it is a lot, maybe it was slightly traumatic, but I feel like it's gonna be. But yeah, no, so we were all just kind of around her, and as I said, it was really, really light and beautiful, and the sun was kind of going down. It was kind of like, it was just really just gorgeous light, and we were all in the room, and all of us were just holding one part of her, and I was sat next to you and Nana, our grandma, and then she went, and we all just sobbed together. And then I just cried at my grandma for a bit.
And waited for the coroner's, the American term. What's the English term for someone
Is it not the same thing?
Possibly. But
and then we waited around. And then it was like we just continued on this party. We just continued on. Because what else can you do?
Our like great aunt was there, and we don't really see her like that often because she lives in another country, but like she'd come over, and she had said to me, because she lost her dad at the same age, and she was like, you need to say, as soon as she dies, you need to say like goodbye and everything you want to say, because you'll regret not saying it even if she is a corpse. So I did that. But also what we've forgotten to talk about is the night, maybe it wasn't the night before, but like 2 nights before, we basically had all had enough. Not had enough, but like it was clear that everyone was kind of like, come on, Abby, it's your time to leave. So her twin brother, our uncle, the one that I lived with,
oh my God,
played basically the pub music that they play when they're trying to clear people out.
Yeah,
like
literally physically trying to get her to clear the room. We were like, we need to go.
All the shit pub music.
So like, what were the songs? One of them was
Why my Delilah, or like why I don't know, or just like shit stuff. Just all of the
really
awful cringy
trashy,
Brit
English
stuff.
music. Yeah. Just trying to get her to clear out.
Yeah, and that didn't work. But anyway, obviously,
that was
2 days later, she did decide to leave. And that was that. And then she got collected. And then for a while, we didn't want to go in that room because it was
I don't think any of us slept that night. I remember being just up at 5 a.m. and I went down, and that was when she was being collected. And then my aunt was like, "You don't want." She was like, "You don't want to be here for this."
Yeah.
And then she just kind of like hushed me upstairs, and that's when you were still awake, and we were just lying on my bed together, just trying to sleep.
Were we?
Yeah, and then I just started playing music to you. And then we were
you're right. We were both lying in your bed, and I remember just listening to the different sounds of cars outside. Yeah, and it was like, oh, is that them now? And
it was very long day. But then I feel like we've talked about it, but the whole spiritual thing, like obviously the sunset, and then there was like an A in the sky, and we at that point everyone was kind of like partying, but we were just like kind of messaging people saying like, okay, this happened.
But also for spirituality, for you to say, I'm not necessarily spiritual, but I just think it's a nice sentiment. Before she was dying, we'd opened all of the windows. We always had windows open so that if she did die, her spirit in theory could like
would leave.
Which as I said, whether or not you believe in that, I thought that was quite a nice thing to visualize.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think that's it. We've kind of jumped around a bit, but the thing is, it is all a blur. And
are we happy to close there?
I think so, yeah.
Jump to ashes scattering.
Yeah. Can I say 1 year on?
1 year on, man.
Yeah, a bit of a stressful day for me.
What happened? Please remind me, because my
Tattoo, Norwich, being stuck in Norwich.
I don't think we need to go into that too much.
Yeah, it was just funny though.
But Bunny had booked a tattoo. Basically, our mum had died on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And...
Well, not on the Sunday. It was the day of the exact 1 year anniversary was a Sunday. And leading up, everyone was like, book that date off. Oh, yeah. And I was like, okay, great, cool. And then I managed to book
that's
in...
what I'm saying.
Yeah. And then I managed to book in a tattoo the day before. And then that week, you were like, oh, buddy, it's moved to the Saturday now. And I was like...
well, it's just easier. And
okay, great.
I should have told you that sooner.
It's fine.
So you had a tattut and then made it here.
And then I was kind of just like stuck in Norwich and having to ask my dad for a lift, and it was like this whole chaotic thing. But finally got here and it was fine. And then same thing again with mum's funeral. We had like this really, really big party. It wasn't a funeral, it was a party, and everyone was just like drinking and dancing and just good food. So we had that again, and everyone had brought stuff, and we did like a barbecue, even though it did rain in the evening, but it was really, really good. It's just nice people. Drinking again, but we set off and went up and over, all of us as a big group, to do
it's our mum's favourite dog walk.
Yeah, it's like just up behind this church that we live opposite. And it was kind of not the best weather, but I think it honestly felt perfect.
If it had been really hot, I think that almost would have taken away from
exactly.
it. So it was dry. It was basically, it's always sunny and dry here, and for some reason this towards where we're at end of July, it's just been like what was I saying, early 20s, it's just been really wet the whole time, which is it's pretty unheard of. So everyone was thinking shit, and we'd obviously like really had to plan this in advance, and we were thinking, do we change it? We can't really change it. We're gonna have to just commit and hope it doesn't rain. And it didn't rain on the day off, thank God. But also, I think, I know, like, for me anyway, I'd say for the last 3 months, like, I've really been thinking about it all the time. Like, it's just been in the back of my mind 24/7.
See, what was really, really interesting is obviously I was dreading mum dying, but for this, I was so excited. I think because of how well everything went last year, for this year, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait. And I can just picture us like scattering her with the sunset and being up there and like, again, being surrounded by family and just making a really nice thing of this situation. And I think it was that, but I also kind of, in some sense, I was kind of underwhelmed again. It just wasn't what I was expecting. I think I had bigged it up in my mind so much. It was just kind of like, oh, I'm literally holding my mum in my hands and throwing her up in the sky. This is the weirdest experience ever. And I feel like none of us knew what to do. And we were like, who wants to go next? Just kind of passing it to each other. It was a beautiful day.
So I think I agree. The same thing of there was a lot of build up, and also at her funeral, it was like quite a big affair. And also I gave a eulogy. Can it be a eulogy or something? I had like a little speech, and if I may say so myself, I fucking killed that. And obviously I didn't have anything like that, and I did picture it being more like everyone would say something and scatter her.
Yeah, but I had that as well.
It was just really, it was just perfect. It was really casual. Yeah. Everyone just like went up, and I think it ended up being just everyone went up in kind of like little groups, which was really nice.
We just went together and then we're like, do we want to say anything? Do you want to say anything?
And then we just kind of like chatted to her a bit while we were throwing the ashes.
We were just like, what do we do?
Yeah, no, exactly.
We were like, okay.
But yeah, no, it was perfect. Our mum wasn't religious, but we live right opposite this really wicked, it's really cool church. It's really big and like beautiful, but as a result, all of the neighbouring kind of like villages, everyone wants to be buried here. And like what mum actually would have wanted was to have been buried at this church, which in hindsight, like at the time, I was like, basically the church said like everyone's pre-booked in advance, so there's not space for your mum. And at the time I thought, yeah, it's fine. Like she wasn't religious anyway. Cremation makes sense, whatever. Now we're at this point. I would have really liked to have had a physical like headstone and place to go back to, just because I don't know if we're going to have this space forever and that type of thing. But it is what it is. We've scattered the ashes nearby enough that we can come back and revisit. But I'm not religious, but I could but with this specific church,
I don't think it's about like the location. It's just having something physical to go back to.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, to be fair. So yeah, she was cremated, and then because I guess she would have wanted to have been buried originally, she didn't want her ashes to be separated.
Yeah.
Which again, it's like, that was more my initial qualm at the beginning, was like, I would have liked to have scattered her and separated her, but I obviously didn't put like everything together, and I was like, well, that's what, she's trying to just recreate the next best thing. If I was her, I would have been pretty pissed off at that, to be fair.
What?
Well, if they turned around and they said, no, you can't be buried here. Also, because it flooded really badly here, and our mum, because it was mainly our studio, like the studio that got flooded, not the house. Mum had more capacity to basically be a detective and chase down like why we were hit so badly and all this stuff. I have a video on my TikTok where you can just like learn about it. She did a load of interviews for various like newspapers, and then an interview with the BBC and that type of thing, was trying to raise awareness of flooding in the UK. I feel very passionately about this. Again, go to my TikTok if you're interested. But yeah, she did so much for the community, and it was just she got and like the church during this time gave us nothing, and it's like, well, what the F is the point of you guys? Anyway, moving on.
That's why religion is a lie.
Shit. Anyway, that's on the internet now.
Yeah.